Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unravel the truth hidden in company filings. And today we're diving into Flora Growth Corp, or FLGC. Get ready, because this report is a bit of a wild ride with some interesting numbers and even more interesting disclosures. So, what exactly is happening here on the 9th of October 2025? Flora Growth Corp has filed what is called a Form 8. Think of this as a special current report used when companies need to announce important news that shareholders should know about right away. This particular filing seems to be all about a blog post they published the same day, giving an update on their financials and how things are going. This is Flora Growth Corp, your registrant. The company is based in Ontario, Canada, but it appears to have its principal executive offices in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They are listed on the Nasdaq Capital Market under the ticker symbol FLGC. Now, a quick note on how they identify themselves. Flora Growth Corp is checking the box that says they are an emerging growth company. This means they get to use some of the rules that allow smaller or newer public companies to take a little longer to comply with certain accounting standards. It is a way for them to ease into the full reporting requirements. Let us get to the meat of it. Item 7.01 is where we find what is called Regulation FD Disclosure. This essentially means that whatever they about to tell us is important information that they making public to everyone at the same time, so no one gets an unfair advantage. And in this case, the big news is that blog post from the 9th of October 2025. They are furnishing it with this report, meaning it is being provided for the public record, but not technically filed in a way that makes them liable for every single word under certain securities laws. They're letting us know that this blog post contains an update on their financials and their progress. This blog post, Exhibit 99.1, is the key here. While we don't have the full content of the blog post itself in this 8, the filing tells us it is about their financials and progress. We have to infer what those updates might be, but the fact that they're re-highlighting it in this way suggests it contains significant information for investors. Now, let's talk about what they're registered to trade. They're common shares, with no par value, trade on the Nasdaq Capital Market under the symbol FLGC. This is what most investors will be watching. And of course, they've included the cover page interactive data file, which is pretty standard and helps with electronic filing and data analysis. Now, before we get too deep, there is a very important cautionary statement regarding forward-looking statements. This is basically a legal disclaimer that tells you not to take everything the company says about the future as a guaranteed fact. They use words like anticipate, intend, plan, believe, and expect. But they re-saying these are just their current hopes and beliefs, and the actual results could be very different. They list a bunch of things that could go wrong, like the price of their cryptocurrency, called $0G, going down, or issues with interest rates, or their ability to actually make money in the future. They also point to their annual report for more risks. It's a reminder that the stock market is full of uncertainty, and past performance does not guarantee future success. Let's look at who signed off on this. The report is signed on behalf of Flora Growth Corp by Danny Vayman, who holds the title of Chief Financial Officer. This means he is the person responsible for the company's financial reporting, and is attesting to its accuracy to the best of his knowledge. Now, let's put on our investor hats and think about what this filing means. This Form 8K is really a notification that Flora Growth Corp has released a public statement, essentially a progress report on the 9th of October 2025. The core of this report is the blog post. While we don't have the specifics of that blog post here, we can infer its importance from the fact it is being highlighted in an 8K. When a company issues a progress update on its financials and operations, it's usually to address investor concerns, highlight achievements, or sometimes to signal upcoming strategic shifts. The mention of the cryptocurrency $0G is quite significant. Companies dealing in digital assets or having exposure to them face unique risks. Fluctuations in the price of $0G can lead to impairment charges, which basically means if the value of $0G they hold drops below what they originally paid for it, they have to record a loss on their books. This can significantly impact their reported profitability, so any mention of their financial progress needs to be viewed through the lens of their cryptocurrency holdings. Furthermore, the volatility in their share price is a key concern. Companies that have a history of or plan for future issuances of their stock or convertible securities can dilute the value of existing shares. This is something investors always need to keep an eye on, as it can affect the ownership percentage and earnings per share for existing shareholders. The mention of ongoing volatility in interest rates is also a common but important risk. Higher interest rates can make it more expensive for companies to borrow money for expansion or operations, and it can also affect consumer spending, indirectly impacting a company's revenue. Their ability to achieve and maintain profitability is a fundamental question for any business. The filing notes uncertainties around this, which is a red flag for investors looking for stable returns. Then there is the regulatory environment, especially for companies involved in new or evolving industries, like potentially those related to Flora Growth Corp. Says business, though the filing is vague on specific operations beyond financial updates, changes in laws or regulations can have a massive impact. Compliance can be complex and costly, and unexpected regulatory shifts are a significant risk. The accounting treatment for their $0 holdings is also called out as something that could change. Accounting rules can be complex, and shifts in how assets like cryptocurrencies are valued or reported can affect a company's financial statements. Ultimately, Flora Growth Corp is facing a landscape of inherent business risks. Their success hinges on their ability to manage growth effectively, access capital for operations and expansion, and adapt to economic conditions. The cautionary statement is a stark reminder that despite their forward-looking statements, tangible results may differ significantly. So, what is our take on this filing? Well, it is a bit of a mixed bag, leaning towards caution. The fact that they're reusing an 8K to highlight a blog post about financials suggests they want to proactively communicate. However, the very prominent cautionary statement, especially mentioning cryptocurrency risks and the potential for stock price volatility, signals that this is not a company without significant challenges. The mention of $0 means their financial health is tied to a very volatile market, which is a high risk proposition for any investor. Their focus on emerging growth status also implies they are still navigating the complexities of scaling and establishing a stable financial footing. The company's direction seems to be focused on growth, but this growth is accompanied by considerable risk factors, particularly concerning their cryptocurrency assets and the general market volatility. The strengths lie in their listing on a major exchange and their proactive communication, but the weaknesses are glaring in the inherent volatility of their highlighted assets and the uncertainties around future profitability. A notable opportunity might be if they can successfully navigate the regulatory landscape and leverage their cryptocurrency involvement strategically, but the risks of regulatory changes and market downturns for $0 are significant. In conclusion, Flora Growth Corp. latest filing is a signal to be vigilant. While they are providing updates, the underlying risks they themselves highlight demand a closer look. Investors should carefully consider their risk tolerance before engaging with this company, especially given the speculative nature of some of their disclosed assets. Alright, that is our breakdown of Flora Growth Corp. latest filing, what is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company? Future, drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more discussions and to connect with fellow corporate explorers. Thanks for watching. See you next time.